Hello, hello. Happy New Comic Book Day. It's Wednesday,
Man.
and we got a new comic to talk about on Kickstarter right now. Damien Becton is the writer of Worlds Away, just launching on Kickstarter for issue number 2 today.
Yes, sir.
Welcome in.
How are you guys? Thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Jeremy, for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Happy New Comic Book Day, everyone. Hope you guys supported your local comic book store. Thank you guys for letting me be on again.
Absolutely. Issue 1 back in June. It seems like that was just yesterday, but June.
That turnaround, man, I'm telling you. I didn't plan it. I planned it to be kind of close, back to back.
Yeah.
But most people got the book like in the mail, and then I immediately launched the pre-launch page like 2 days later. I didn't plan it for that.
Yeah.
To do like that. It just ended up being that way. But it couldn't have worked out any better.
Yeah, I think that works well for launches if you're able to keep that consistency. I know, of course, we were talking about pre-show heading into the November, December. You probably aren't going to launch again because everyone's spending money on Christmas time, holidays, etc. But I think backers like that when it's not, oh, here was an issue 2 years later, here's the second issue.
Yeah, that was kind of when like I was planning it. And I was realizing, like, look, I want to make this happen sooner rather than later. And the first Kickstarter was pretty successful. That gave me a little bit of a boost. And
yeah,
I decided to get into the next one. So I said, why the heck not?
Right. Yeah. I think that building that first set of backers, and then you head into that second one right after they get it and read it. Everyone's ready for the second one.
Yeah, and shout out to you if you guys chose to contribute and to back my first one. I truly appreciate you. Thank you, Jeremy, for backing it as well, and this one as well. I think I said it last time. Say what?
I couldn't pass up this nice shirt.
Hey man, it looks good on you. It looks good on us.
Thanks.
But I think I said it last time. This is literally my dream. You guys are helping make my dream come true, and I'm thankful that you guys believe in this project, believe in me and Christian and Devin and Reed. Shout out to Devin, Reed, Christian, and Luana. I'm thankful. Thank you.
Whole crew creators right there. I love that you got them all, like, information about them and all in the back.
I promise. Hey, like I said, every time I do an interview, I'm always telling people, like, they made this story look and feel and read as good as it does. I kind of moved everything in the right places and everything, but I literally couldn't have done it without Christian, Luana, Devin, or Reed. So shout out to all of them. Thankful for all of you guys.
When getting, I guess we talked a lot about like the comic and you getting into comics last time. So for anyone not sure who you are, wants to hear kind of your origin story, go check out that interview from June. I think it was June 20th.
Maybe July. I don't know if it was mid-campaign or.
Yeah, it was mid-campaign. I was looking back when I was messaging you something earlier. I was like June 29th.
Yeah, that was like dead in the middle then. Yep.
Yeah. So go check that out for like the history and origin of you. But I want to talk a little bit about like process and creating the comic and all that. You've got such a cool team of creators on here with you. What was the process, that you went through in selecting a team to work with?
Really, when I first started looking for an artist for Worlds Away, I didn't really have a specific art style in mind. If you took a look at the issue 1, if you guys backed issue 1, if you looked at the back matter, I showed a bunch of previous versions of the same story, and like each version of the story
all over the place
has very different art styles. So it went through a bunch of different iterations. But when I saw Christian, I think I found Christian's Instagram page, and I just emailed him or messaged him on Instagram, and he was kind of, I wouldn't say hesitant, But he said to me, "Are you sure?" I think he was pretty interested in it because I
Yeah.
shared the story. But he was more like, "Are you sure my art style is like good for this story?" And I was like, "Dude, absolutely." And ever since then, he's been so great. I've been like, I'll write a panel, and sometimes he'll hit me back with, "Hey, wouldn't it be cooler if we did this instead?" And a lot of times I'm like, you know what, that absolutely works, because Christian, he has the mind.
Yeah.
Make things look cooler than I can imagine, because that's what artists do, man. They know what they're doing.
Right. So there's a little bit of like a back and forth between you guys where you're like, hey, this is what I want to happen.
Uh-huh.
And he can just say, hey, I think if we do it this way instead, this is going to be like, this is your idea, but even better.
It's like, it's a true collaboration, and that's why, um, like I said, that's why I'm always thanking Christian, because some of the stuff that is in the final issue, or in the final issues, included issue 2 that we're working on right now. They're not. It's not. It wasn't always that way. There were some scenes in there, or there's some specific panels in there that Christian just like threw out. He said, he balled it up. He said, "Let's do it this way." And I'm like, you know what? That works. That absolutely works. It's not. He just made it look cooler. It made it feel cooler. It made it
Yeah.
flow better than I initially wrote it. But that's what true collaboration is, I think. If you guys are creators and you guys collaborate in different ways, I'm not. There is no one wrong or right way.
Right.
That's just how we do it.
I mean, just from talking to all kinds of different creators, everyone's doing something different in their process, or, some are work for hire, and it's just like, hey, draw it the way I want. Or some are like,
Yeah.
the writer's like, I have such a vivid image of what I want to see happen that they maybe storyboard it out, and like, they're like, can you do this? And so like, I've seen so many different ways, but it's always cool to hear, what goes into the creation and what everyone's different processes.
Yeah, and they're especially people who work together a long time. I think it was We Have Demons that I was reading not too long ago by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo,
Yeah.
and I think there was some back matter in there that showed that gave some commentary on their process, or they gave some, or I think it was Scott Snyder's actual script that he wrote.
Yeah.
I think he wrote a panel in there, and then he said, "I want this to happen, blah 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 blah." And then I think in parentheses he said, "Or just do whatever you want," because he's been working with Greg Capullo all the way since
Right.
the 2. With Batman, they have that history with each other. They just trust each other so much, and I think a lot of that comes with time as well.
Yeah.
But however you guys choose to work, again, like I said, I'm not in a position to judge anyone. Whatever your work process is, your collaboration process, go for it. As long as it's working, as long as you guys are happy, go for it. But I think me and Christian just collaborate really, 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 really well. Shout out to Christian. Love you, dude.
With the rest of the team, was that like the colorist was Luana Christina? Was that someone that Christian already knew, or was that you guys together picked out someone?
So I got in touch with Luana Christini through another artist that I'm working with on another project.
Is that the Project Angel emoji, fire emoji?
Fire emoji. That's a different project, and hopefully I'll talk to you about that when we're on it, because I'm super excited about Project Angel Fire emoji as well. So I got to tell somebody, which we're gonna have to maybe keep that on the down low. But I met, or I came in contact with Luana from a different artist who I met. I think I just contacted an artist named Gabriel Barros. We're working on a different project for Project Big Hype, which is going to be out next year. And Gabriel and Luana, they collaborate very, very often. and that's how I got in touch with Luana. And ever since I saw that, she worked on some like uh, preview pages for this project that I will. I think I changed the name, but there was a project that we were working with me and Gabriel called "Try Not to Die." um, so that project got put on the back burner. But when she colored those pages that we worked on, I was like, she would be perfect for this. And we've been collaborating ever since. She's great. She's again just like everyone that I've talked about. She's kind. She's friendly. She's open. She's willing to give her interpretation or her notes, like just like Christian. She does a
Yeah.
lot. Wouldn't it be cooler if we did a lot of this? Or what do you guys think about this? She'll give me like 3 or 4 different color palettes, and she'll say, "I think this is my favorite. But what about this blue one, this pink one, this green one?"
Yeah.
And she does it that way. She's great.
I think that's good that the whole team is throwing input in there. That like, hey, I didn't even think about this from this color perspective. Of
Mhm.
maybe want to set the mood a certain way. Those types of things. That's really cool to see the level of collaboration in there.
Yeah, and like the cover for Worlds Away #1 and Worlds Away #2, like she gave us like she gave us like 3 or 4 different color palettes for each, and they all look great. But when we saw the purple one, we were like, it was just like when she put it in our Discord. We have a Discord channel.
Yeah.
When she put it in there, all of us just fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one right there. But she was great. She's very hyper talented, and you can just look at the pages. They made it look as good as they do, and read too.
I mean that was actually what I was coming to show was some of the stuff Reed did here, which
with the
the blurring of the words when she's got the music playing so
yeah,
loud. I was like, that's just so cool. I didn't even
yeah.
think about how would the words visually look.
Um,
They're muffled. They're muffled words, and that's the perfect way to represent it.
thank you, Jeremy, for like noticing that, because I had no idea how it would turn out. I did write that. I wrote the actual dialogue, so you are able to read it.
Yeah,
But when I wrote it for Reed to do, I had no idea what it would look like,
yeah,
how it would turn out. But the way he did it to make the words in the word balloon muffled so that we know that she can't really hear what Serenity is
yeah,
saying, it turned out perfectly. So shout out to Reed Hinkley Barnes. He's on a lot of stuff. I'll talk.
yeah.
He's on everything, every indie book that you can see. So shout out to Reed. He's great too.
Yeah, I see him pop up a lot. Jerome, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Gagnon.
Yeah, I see him
Gagnon.
too.
He does a lot of the Orange Cone books, but he's on a lot of other projects too. Like they're the names I see pop up in indie comics a lot for
Yeah,
letters.
I wouldn't be surprised if they make it
I mean, just
the.
throwing in like even like this panel, the
Yes, I promise you, a few people I talked to, not that Christian can't do, like some artists like Asad Ribic, they do
yeah,
their own sound effects. They'll draw their sound effects into the panel. But Christian did not draw those sound effects. It was Reed who threw those in there. There was a panel in there where Serenity gets hit by one of the orbs, and there's like
mhm,
a boom, but it looks absolutely perfect because it
yeah,
wasn't in there. It was. It looks like it's a part of the art. So shout out to
yeah.
well, shout out to Christian, but shout out to Reed
I was
as
just
well.
like the things like this. Honestly, I think the first time I read it, I didn't catch that. If you're looking at it from a distance, just looks like a zigzag with the motion. You're looking at it again, you're like, oh, dang, hiding words in there. So those extra details are super cool. The whole team coming
Thank
together to
you.
put that in.
Thank you, Jeremy. Like we worked really hard on it, so we truly appreciate you. The high praise. Like real talk, Jeremy. I know you read a lot of comic books. You probably read more than me. You can see I have like a
Many.
bunch of. You have way more behind you. So when you say like it looks good and it reads well, like it means a lot. So thank you for the kind words, man.
No problem. I mean, you wouldn't be on here. We wouldn't be talking if I was like, man, this comic sucks.
Hey, I appreciate that. I was watching your. I'm gonna not talk about myself for a second, but I was watching you and Brian Hawkins.
Yeah.
Line a few weeks ago, and that was a great interview. Brian's such a good dude, man, and he has a lot. I don't know. Brian Hawkins must have like 32 hours in his day because he has so much stuff out, and he's doing so much. He edits, he writes, he edits, and he has so much stuff going on. I honestly don't know how he does it. But shout out to Brian Hawkins too.
I have no idea because he's all over the place doing stuff, and I mean that was fun to talk to him. I felt like we got some cool praise from him. He said that we were funny, and I was like, all right, that's it. We reached our peak.
Like Brian Hawkins, like he say a lot of things, but Brian Hawkins is a truth teller. He tells the truth. So if he said it, he meant it.
It's like, all right, I'll take the praise. I do want to say I have the page open over here, and I just saw you broke 1,000 a couple seconds ago.
Oh, stop! I did not realize that. Thank you, whoever that was. If you are watching this, I appreciate that.
So 54 backers, 1K.
We're gonna for this one. I think we're gonna have to work a little bit harder. Not that we didn't work hard last time because I was posting nonstop. It's just I had a little bit more time over the summer. I'm teaching you guys if you're watching. But thank you if you choose or if you're considering backing this project, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for helping make this comic possible. It's turning out well. When I made that trailer. I was like, this looks pretty legit.
No, your trailer's first one. The trailer looked awesome. This one looks great. Who do you have help to do that? Do you do that yourself or?
I made that. I type in royalty free, royalty free music, and then I find something that I'm the mood that I'm trying to go for. And and then I just shape everything around it. Thank you, Marvel PDC. I appreciate that.
That's
no worries about missing the first Kickstarter. If you consider checking out the second Kickstarter, I truly appreciate it. No pressure though; it's all up to you. If you do choose to back us, we hope you enjoy it. It's a very heartfelt story about a mom and a daughter. And they have to make some tough decisions along the way.
Yeah. So let's talk about, since we're here, let's talk about issue 2. Because issue 1, I don't want to spoil anything especially for Marvel PDC here, who hasn't gotten to read number 1. Mm-hmm. But it starts out and you're like, all right, it's a sci-fi story. It's about space. They're exploring. Mm-hmm. And you get hit with something fantasy in the middle of it. And you're like, well, all right, my assumptions about this world aren't real. I mean, I knew going in it had elements of fantasy. We talked about that before, but it was really cool, twist on the genre to throw that in.
Yeah. When I know I talked about it last time, but if you missed it, a lot of my influences come from old Final Fantasy games that I used to play. And I just like the idea of fantasy versus sci-fi, and you'll get a lot of that in this. So in a nutshell, what happens is Serenity and Mackenzie, a mother and a daughter who have this, in like a futuristic universe, they crash land on a planet. They're not really sure what kind of planet it is, but once they venture out into the planet, they realize that this planet is filled with not sci-fi type creatures or characters, but more fantastical, mystical, magical type characters. And a lot of times in this new issue, I really asked Christian when he was designing characters to, I don't know if you guys ever play Elden Ring or Dark Souls. I said, give me your best Elden Ring type character. for a specific character, and Christian just happened to be a Elden Ring fan, and there's another character that is not showing up. Not those two. Spoiler alert, but there's somebody else that shows up in the issue. That
can't reveal everything on the Kickstarter page.
Yep, but there's a lot of fantastical. You'll get a lot of sci-fi and stuff, but it's very fantasy as well.
Yeah, but yeah, I love that genre mashup. We get a little bit of that, and I feel like Star Wars hits on some of that, with the level of fantasticalness that they go to with characters, but like, I don't know, most of sci-fi comics stick to more sci-fi.
That's true. I absolutely agree with that. It's either, a lot of them are very sci-fi or they're very high fantasy. And what I tried to do was like super sci-fi, Iron Man, Power Ranger type characters mixed with Elden Ring, Lord of the Ring type characters. That's literally what's kind of happening right here. Because, I don't know if you guys ever played Final Fantasy type games. What's up? Hoarder's Hide.
Yeah.
Happy Wednesday. Happy New Comic Book Day, Hoarder's Hide. But when I did it, Final Fantasy is just, dragons and laser beams and machine guns and goblins and stuff like that. So, for whatever reason, that's where my mind goes when I start conceptualizing a story. But I shout out to Christian, who, it's kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum, but he mashes them together and he makes it work. Spectacular.
Elden Ring. So my history with that is I started playing it and I suck. I'm terrible at it. So I haven't played it in a minute because I kept dying, and that just made me sad.
I posted about it, or I tweeted about it like probably 2 or 3 weeks after it released, and I just retired, man. I retired. What I did was I watched some playthroughs of it because I could not get past a certain point. Like, there's nothing I do works, so I just watch the people who are good at the game.
Even like early on, that guy on the horse.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even beat him.
I think his name is the Tree something, but it's like right after that.
I need to watch some playthroughs. That's why I need to, because I feel like the story is really cool, and the world is awesome. I actually have a friend who's like actually gone through Elden Ring, and she's just like avoided bosses somehow, and like just been playing and having fun and doing like little stuff. And she ended up in like some boss level that you're not supposed to get until you've beaten like a bunch of other bosses.
Yeah.
And it's just like what?
It's a true open world game, and you can just skip all of that if you want to. But I just don't understand how you can do it. You have to be really good at the game, and that's I'm in your boat. I could not get past a certain level or a certain spot in the game. And I just said, you know what? I'll watch the Game Grumps play this game.
Zen here bought it just to stop it also.
Zen, hey man, it's tough. Those From Software games, they're tough. So you're not the only one. I played Bloodborne a few years ago. Didn't beat that. But it's, if you're a Souls fan, I can't recommend it enough because it is fun, but it is frustrating. It is fun.
Definitely. But
the world
Marvel, this cover B here is pretty awesome. And this artist has got a nice little series out over from Vault right now. Tsunando C.
Yeah.
End After End.
Tsunando C. Yeah. And again, when I reached out to Tsunando, he was so kind, so helpful. And I was just stoked that he agreed to draw this cover. If you haven't checked out End After End from Vault Comics, I think they're 2 issues in. But
2 issues, yeah.
It's another like a super high fantasy. It's a great book. I just finished reading issue 2 like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah.
But he got on board. I gave him an idea, um, but I gave him free reign to do whatever he wanted. I said, "This is what I'm thinking about." Um, the dad, Zaire and Serenity, Zaire and Mackenzie. You know, the daughter and father. You know, they have this relationship. And I wanted his cover to be more of an emotional one. And I think he absolutely knocked it out of the park. And I was when he sent it to me, like I got emotional. I'm like, oh, dude, I got some guy from Vault Comics doing a cover for Worlds Away, but he did extremely well, and I'm thankful. And he's a good dude. He's so kind, so helpful. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that represents them pretty well. You know, her remembrance of him really is by music.
Yeah.
That's how.
That's going to play a huge part. Jeremy, if you scroll down later, you don't have to do it right now, but music does play a huge part in this story.
In the previews for this one?
Yeah, if you scroll down a little bit. But one of the things that I think is towards the bottom, but one of the things that I wanted to do was be a little bit different, and I incorporated that was it right there.
Oh, the QR code.
Yeah. So we did. I didn't want to incorporate some music into this, and one of the ways that Mackenzie and her father Zaire, how they bond is through music. And if you choose to back it, one of the things that you're able to do is scan a QR code, and every issue, some character in there will be listening to some kind of music. And if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to listen to what Serenity is listening to, or Mackenzie, or whoever. And I think it turned out pretty well. But yeah, that's why we chose to do that one. And really, that Mackenzie, how they bond through music, it's kind of like a metaphor for me and my dad. What they bonded over, it literally could have been anything, but I just chose to do music. But me and my dad, we bonded over comic books. He's the one who got me into comic books. Comic books. So I want to give a little shout out to my dad. That's why.
That's awesome. I know you've talked about before how Serenity, a little bit of representation of your mother in certain aspects. So it's cool then that it's almost like it's a story about your family a little bit.
It is. Mackenzie, the daughter, is kind of an amalgamation of me and my brothers and my sister. But the mother and the father in here, kind of like my mom and my dad. If I can get a little bit personal here, I told you guys last time that Serenity is literally a mother who would do anything for her daughter or for her kids, and that's really how I see my mom. My mom is 4'11". She's tiny. She's a tiny Asian woman, but she would literally do anything for me. She would fight for me. She'd protect me. Again, I'm 31 years old, but she still texts me to this day, making sure I ate. But when I grew up, I'm not gonna lie. When I grew up, I didn't realize how much she did for me. I didn't really understand why I really never saw her unless it was on the weekends. But I didn't really see her because when I came home from school, she was working from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. So when I got home, she was gone. And when I went to sleep, she was gone. And it wasn't until like I grew up to really realize how much she did for me, because she cooked for me, she cleaned, she picked my clothes out and did all this stuff. And I really preferred my dad. I didn't like I said, I was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I really didn't understand what was going on. My dad didn't live with us. They were separated. But I really preferred my dad because he went to my games. He picked me up from school. He did all these things. But it's kind of, it's more of a shout out to both. My dad did all these things for me, and he was great. My mom did all these things for me, and she was great. And I just wanted to kind of immortalize them a little bit. So shout out to my parents.
Yeah. And definitely see how that's coming through in the characters. Clearly, she's not a fan of her mom, but her mom's working, like you just said, day and night to try to fix the ship to get them off the planet.
Yep, that's absolutely it. And I think I sent this to my mom. If you're watching, mom, or she'll probably watch it later because I sent her all the links to the to the interview. I love you, mom. But yeah, it really is just um, an extreme version of my mom. My mom is like she doesn't know how to fight. She's not a warrior. She's not any of this stuff. But it's really just how I vision. She's a superhero in my mind. So shout out to my mom. Shout out to whoever just backed us again.
Yeah, Marvel PDC says he had to hop off, but awesome project. Looks forward to catch-up bundle. Music idea is awesome. Best of luck on hitting the goal. So I think that 55th backer right there was Marvel.
All right, thank you, Marvel PDC. If you come back and watch this, I truly appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, so cover A by Christian Pernesti, Luana Christina, the interior creative team, and then cover C here, which is so cool. And actually, I ended up using that because I think at the time when I put the image together for this, the image I found for Worlds Away to cover A didn't have the Worlds Away text on it, so I threw this one up. But I love this cover too.
That's hey, I love it too. That's why I chose it. This one is by Samuel Iwunze. I am a huge fan of him. He does the covers for, I don't know if you've ever read Magic Powder. It's another Kickstarter book by Jeff Schiller. Okay. And he does a lot of great stuff. He does the covers for those. I think I just did
their last Kickstarter, like issue 3, their catch-up bundle on that.
Yeah, he's it's a great looking book, man. It's great. I read issue 1. I have issue 2. I haven't read issue 2, but I'm telling you, I think I messaged Jeff not too long, well, like back probably June or May, and I said, dude, have you submitted this to any publishers? This, somebody will pick this up.
Yeah.
I think he was talking to somebody about it. They're waiting to get but it's a great looking book, and great looking covers. That's why I hit Samuel Owunze up.
Speaking of, have people submitted books to publishers? Worlds Away.
I have. There were a few people or a few publishers who were interested, and some just faded away. I understand that people are busy, and there's a lot of submissions. But yeah, I am currently in the process of signing I don't know. I guess it's okay if I don't say who the publisher is. But I'm currently in the process of inking a deal with a certain publisher, and hopefully you'll be able to see this at your local comic book store in the near future. So cross your fingers for us. Hopefully we make that happen.
Awesome. It's pretty cool to hear. I figured just on how I felt like the quality, everything that came out on this was really good. It felt like a book you could pick up off the shelf. So
thank you again. I know you read so many comic books, Jeremy. So for you to say that, I truly appreciate it, brother.
I mean, like this guy here who does some quick Kickstarters. You got a quote on here from him, Jared. Crash and Troy, awesome sci-fi book out there on shelves right now.
Yep, and I'm waiting for issue 3 to come out in next week. I think it's next week. But shout out to Jared Lujan. He's, honest to God, he's one of the best dudes in indie comics right now. Such a nice guy, so helpful. A fellow Mad Cave Studios Talent Search winner, and you see what he's doing now. He's making moves.
I think I don't remember who we had on first. It was him or you, but it was like really close back to back. I was like, I got all the Mad Cave talent search winners coming on right now.
Yeah. You need to get David Hazan. David Hazan's great too. You know,
I haven't gotten him on. I need to probably. I'm assuming they're going to be doing a third arc of.
Yeah, I think they confirmed that they're doing it.
Yeah, I got Nottingham back here.
Nottingham is a good book. Yeah. Shout out to David Hazan.
I need them on. I need to talk with all of them. They seem super cool.
They're great people.
I think is that your brother down there? That comment?
Oh, that is my
friend.
Yep, that's my. So his name is Stefan. Shout out to Stefan. His name is Stefan. I call him Kuya. Kuya is just like a term, it means big brother in Filipino, or just like an older male figure. I've been calling him Kuya for 30 years. So, hello, Kuya. Thank you for joining us. If you have not already, my dear brother, please consider backing and sharing my Kickstarter. That is my brother, though.
Got to make sure the family backs it.
Yeah, I promise you, they took up a big chunk of that funding goal. So shout out to all of them.
Any comments from the family on here this time? No. Was
not
it
yet.
The last time your mom leave a comment?
Yeah, she did. It was, I forgot exactly what video it was, but she did. She talked directly to the YouTuber, whoever.
Oh yeah.
To Whitey, and she said, "Thank you for having my son on," or something. I forgot exactly what it was, but she thought I was embarrassed that I put it on social media, but I was just, I thought it was so funny.
That's great. It's good.
Already know. Thank you, Kuya. Thank you for. I don't know if you shared this, Kuya, but thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, Jeremy. Kuya, we are in our new condo, so if you want to come, there's a mess all the way right here. But we have 3 floors. It's very thin, but we have a few floors. If you want to come by.
Yeah, put your full screen so he can see the little the shot of it.
I'm not gonna embarrass myself like that. But yep. Nope.
Something that I saw was really cool that you got on this one as an extra reward is the trading card. I saw you got the trading card done as like a business card kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
It's the same artist that does this, right?
Yes, Pete Collins, Pack Illustration. I was hoping to get the actual the foil version of the card before the Kickstarter launched, but I just got the delivery update. It's literally coming tomorrow, so I'm going to be posting about that. But the reason I chose to do this is because my oldest brother, Hennyville right there, or Kuya or Stefan, growing up, he would, when he was a teenager, and I was like probably 3 or 4 or 5, he used to collect trading cards. He used to get basketball trading cards and Marvel trading cards and stuff. And I just thought it would be a cool idea to have this trading card for the main character. And if you do get a Serenity trading card, I think it's $20 or more. If you pledge $20, any of the $20 or more rewards, you have a chance to get a holographic version or a foil version. And if you get that foil version, then the next campaign you'll get a free whatever I choose to do. So I'm just gonna randomly pick whoever gets those rewards, and hopefully people will have a little bit of fun with it along the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a cool little extra thing there. Do you plan on doing like the following issue? There's going to be another trading card for a different character, and down the line, get the whole set.
Yeah, but shout out to Pete Collins as well, Pack Illustration, who designed the card. He did a great job. I just gave him a couple images, told him to do whatever he wanted to do with it, and it turned out really, really, really well. I'm excited to see what it looks like tomorrow. Well, that's what it's going to look like, but having the actual physical card.
Physically being able to hold it, that's a whole different feeling.
Yep, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so it's I think here the deluxe catch up or like the
Mhm.
physical bundle here, you get those cards.
Yeah, I think anything. I'm not sure, but maybe everything after $20, you can get a card.
Oh
Maybe.
yeah, there, yeah.
I hope I did that right. If I did that right, if I didn't do it right, then I'm gonna have to correct it. But anything over $20, then you'll get that $20. You'll get a Serenity card. Um,
It looks
and if
like
you get,
the $20 here, but not here.
oh well, I'll figure it out because
Yeah.
I intended it for anything over $20, but I'll figure it out. But thank you for pointing that out to me because I'm really excited about the cards, man. I'm
You're just
really
like, everyone get a card, get a card. Back it
um,
up and get a card.
because it turned out well, man. I was like super excited when
Yeah.
he sent me the designs. It turned out really, really well.
Yeah, it's super cool. And then the other thing, there was the shirt on the first Kickstarter. There's a new shirt for the second one you got there.
Oh yeah. If you like comfy shirts, Jeremy can attest to this. The brand of shirt that I got is extremely soft. It is extremely comfortable. But I added a little bit more flair to this one. You can see I have my Serenity on there. But it turned out really, really well. Next time, I'm going to try to do something different each time. If we're lucky enough to get this funded, I'm cautiously optimistic that we do with everyone's help.
Oh yeah.
But the shirt, it turned out really, really well, and hopefully, it looks good on you, Jeremy.
Thanks.
You look good.
I don't have any purple shirts, so it's like this light purple color. Like, I love it.
It looks good, man. Shout out to
Nigel.
Desired Comics. Thank you, Desired Comics.
Nigel, check out the Kickstarter. If you're just popping in, make sure you go check out that link. So one thing I know you got first physical book out. Second one's in process right now.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on cons that you want to go to and promote? I know you got a busy work schedule.
Yeah, I'm hoping, Heroes Con. I live in Charlotte. Heroes Aren't Hard to Find is the name of the comic book store that I go to, and it's literally right down the road. Heroes Aren't Hard to Find. They're the ones who put together Heroes Con. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that I'm able to get a table there. That'll be my first experience. Not gonna lie to you, my first con that I've been to was Heroes Con last year, and I only went one day. But it was, it was just an experience to see people like me who are just into comic books. And hopefully I can get there. And Heroes Con is cool because it's during the summer and I won't have anything to worry about. So I'll cross my fingers and hopefully I get one of those. Or if not, something during the school year, I'll just take a few days off if I have to. But I'm hopefully cross your fingers for me, Jeremy.
Take a little mini vacation,
Yeah, I would be. And I saw all the pictures of New York Comic Con.
Oh my God.
Like, I need to experience that. I don't know if you've ever been to New York or New York City.
Once.
I've been once too, and I was like this the whole time, just looking up. So, but just seeing like Brian Hawkins and David Hazan and Marion Comics now, Behemoth Comics and Vault Comics doing everything. I need to experience that at least once, or I need to at least.
I think this guy was there, Desired. I thought I saw him in a picture or two.
That's
he
dope.
goes to a lot of cons.
Shout out to Nigel. You got to tell us how it is. If it looks as fun as it, or if it is as fun as it looks, then me and Jeremy have to hit one up. So
yeah, I was getting some major FOMO there.
Yep, it was like I'm like, man, I wish. But there's a lot of cool cons, everywhere now.
Yeah,
probably not quite as cool as New York Comic Con or San Diego, but we'll make it happen.
My first big one was Baltimore last year. That was so much fun. It was probably the biggest one I've been to.
I've driven through Baltimore. Like there's like a highway that just goes over it. But yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about Baltimore Comic Con as well. New York Comic Con is
Yeah.
definitely worth the time. Strongly recommended. I definitely need to make that happen. Do you have any
Yeah.
plans, Jeremy, going this year or next year anyway?
I'm gonna go to Baltimore again this year. It's the
Yeah.
end of the month. So flying up there. There's a lot of
This month?
end of this month. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So like, wow, that's like 2 weeks from
Yeah,
Friday.
it's not. Hey,
uh,
it's pretty
Time's
quick
flying.
turnaround.
Yeah. So yeah, I went to a Fan Expo New Orleans in January, and it's really the only con I've been to since
Mhm.
Baltimore last year. So I've been like itching to go to a con again.
Were
Uh,
there any like shout out to you if you're in like Artist Alley or whatever. Or what I think Artist
yeah.
Alley is where like the indie people like us go. Were there any notable creators there as well at the expo?
At Fan Expo New Orleans, like half the people that were planning to show up got like cut out because COVID.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't great. Mark Russell was there.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was probably the coolest creator. That was like, all right. And he's just sitting there like by himself at his table doing little sketches
mhm.
of like funny things. Like he's hilarious. I mean, Not All Robots nominated for humor book
I haven't looked at
for the
that.
Ringos.
That's AWA, right? Artists,
Yeah,
writers, and artisans. Yeah, I read. I
yeah.
read it, but
So I have a. I wonder where I put that. I think it's over there somewhere. But I have this like sketch of this like spider looking guy, and he's chasing someone, and it just says Spider Man.
yeah, that's like Kyle Starks. He does little funny stuff like that too.
Yeah, I was like, this is great. It's not like he's not an artist, but it's artwork in a way
Yeah,
still, and it's hilarious, and it's just this thing that he sketched while he was bored, sitting waiting for people to come up to him and talk to
yeah.
him.
One of the things I've been to MiniCon, which is just a smaller version of Heroes Con. But the coolest thing that I noticed was that a lot of the creators that I enjoy their books, they're just regular people, and
Yeah,
they're friendly and they're kind. So yeah, that's why I want to do it, just to meet people, and show my
yeah.
face.
Last year, I got to meet David Pepose in person at Baltimore. We'd had him on the channel before, and it was like, hey, in person in the flesh. Uh,
I was thinking.
he's gonna be back.
Kevin Rodatelli. Kevin Rodatelli.
Yeah.
He's doing big things now. I don't know. He's like Brian Hawkins. He has his finger in so many different pies.
Yeah. The
Whatnot and
Whatnot now publishing heavy metal.
heavy metal, and I don't know if he's still with Sumerian or slash Behemoth or anything, but
Yeah, I think the details on Happy Tank are unclear.
yeah.
I don't know exactly what's happening there, if it's continuing or not.
But he's doing a lot of. He must have 48 hours in his day. How
He
often I see
also
him.
he also bought a bar.
Yeah, I see that. Hey, I saw the same thing. I'm like, he
What's
must.
funny is the day I had him on last, we were like gonna chat about like the Whatnot stuff that he's doing, and I see this post that he bought a
He must
bar, and so he comes on, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, I'm like, I've been drinking all day now. He bought a bar.
Yeah, man.
We're chatting, and he's just like, he's hilarious as always, but like,
Yeah. Seems like a cool dude. Seems like a very cool dude, and he knows what he's doing. I remember him posting like on indie comics, on Facebook. He had like a Facebook group, and then
yeah,
from that, he just grew and grew and grew and grew to where he's at now, and I'm sure he's continuing to grow. But he
oh yeah,
absolutely knows what he's doing. So shout out to Kid, even though I've never really talked to him or met him or anything, but seems like a good guy. Very cool. It's really cool to see
yeah.
what he's done and he's continuing to do.
Oh yeah. He's killing it for sure.
Yeah, he has a lot, man.
Well, one day I'll actually meet him in person too. I gotta go to one of the big cons. I gotta go to New York. That's what I gotta do.
That's what. Yeah, it looks really fun.
But yeah, Nigel definitely recommended. So I keep saying, next year. So I gotta make next year the actual
This
next
year.
year.
Yep. If you go next year, then I will make it a point to go. Or
All right.
you can come to Heroes Con.
And I keep hearing from people, some friends of the channel that are also out there in the indie world, Noah Ray, Matt Kund. They do they it's Ageless Press is like their Kickstarter company, I guess, kind of. Dino Thrashers is their comic, but then they also put some other things out there. And they run you should get on their show. They do a podcast. I'm gonna blank on the name. Something comics. Constructing comics.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so that's them. They're gonna be at Baltimore this year, but they go to Heroes Con every year. Also,
so maybe I just walked by them and didn't even know. So I'm gonna have to reach out to them. I'll ask you about the details after this show.
Yeah, no, they're up. I mean, they're in the Maryland, I think Maryland area, but near enough like DC and all that.
That's cool. I need I'm just trying to reach out as well. I'm trying to make a name for myself.
Yeah, they're definitely great people to. They're really good at promoting Kickstarters.
Okay.
That's what. So even when they're not doing their own, they get out there and they talk about a lot of indie creators. Talk about the construction of the comic, looking at all the details. So
I'm definitely going to ask you about that. Maybe I can fit something in during this campaign, but I'm sure they're stacked already. But it wouldn't be bad to reach out regardless.
Oh yeah, but yeah, so they met them in person for the first time last year at Baltimore Comic Con. So many people that we talked to on the show. I was like, hey, we're going to Baltimore Comic Con. We're gonna meet you. So that's cool. There's a couple I think this year that haven't met in person, but we've talked to all again on the channel. So I'm excited.
The cool thing is a lot of especially the indie creators, they're just great, kind people. It is a competition between. Technically, it's a competition because there's only so many spaces a publisher has, but it's all friendly competition. No one's going to get mad if somebody gets a deal with Aftershock, or no one's going to get mad if someone gets a deal with whatever.
Yeah,
everyone's really kind. Everyone's rooting for everyone. So yeah, it's all good.
I feel like at the end of the day, people are creating the stories. I mean, they're creating them for an audience, but also for themselves a little bit. There's a story that you want to tell and want to get out there to the people. No matter how many people end up reading it, it's like I needed to tell this story.
Absolutely, I'm that person, man. I promise you. When I first made Worlds Away, I was in the hole $2,000+. I'm still in the hole whatever many dollars. But I'm just so thankful just to have the reception that it has, or the following, even though I don't really have a true following yet. But for the people who are continuing, like you, Jeremy, people who are continuing to support it and read it, I'm extremely thankful for all 200+ of you, nearly 300 people who backed the first one. I'm
already at 57 now. Back this one, so 2 more.
Oh snap! We're making moves. Thank you guys. If that was one of you, if you're watching or listening, if that was you, my brother Stefan, thank you, my dear brother. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm having fun. I just want to tell stories, man. And I'll tell you about Project Angel Fire when we go off air.
I love the naming for Angel Fire emoji.
Because I did sign some NDAs, you guys. I really did. And
which is awesome to be at that stage. That.
Yeah, man. Cross your fingers for me. Hopefully, it's the first of first of a few. We'll see. Um, Hopefully, Worlds Away is it gets picked up, and hopefully some LCSs, some comic book stores pick it up, and hopefully it grows from there. Because I'm really excited. Christian deserves it.
Yeah.
Luana deserves it. Reed deserves it. They're all great creators, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. And so we're on issue 2 of Worlds Away now. How many were you planning for that again?
The plan is 4 issues, but
Okay.
what happens at the end of issue 3, which I'm currently writing, it might need to get extended because um, there's like a lot of cool stuff that I have in my brain right now that I know Christian will just make look even more cool. Um, but the plan is 4. It might be extended to 5, and that's just more. Um, it's not just an extra issue. It's just more me elaborating on what's going to go down. I don't want to condense it. I don't want to
Yeah.
just pack it all into 20 something pages when it could it should be like probably 40-ish pages. There's literally an issue that could fit in between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how successful some Kickstarters are before I commit to anything.
Yeah. I mean, with I've read a lot of we've talked about. I've read a lot of comics now, but I feel like sometimes there are some series that end on issue 4, and you're like, that last issue or the last 2 issues just feel like we just rushed through things to get to the end. Versus those 5-issue ones, maybe we get a little bit extra time to flesh out something that like you're talking about, you'd feel like you'd be rushing if you did it. Some of the stuff you're thinking about right now.
And I think because the crux of the story is, it is a sci-fi, it is fantasy, it is action, and visually it's all those things. But the crux of the story is this emotional mother-daughter relationship, and some of the things that happen in this story, the big explosions, the blood, the fighting, and all this stuff, it would mean a lot more if I'm able to, if I do it well. It would mean a lot more if I have a little bit more pages or a little bit more panels to make the readers care about these characters just a little bit more. And I'm thinking I might need a little bit more pages to make you guys feel to get more invested in Serenity and Mackenzie and Clar, who I'm going to introduce in issue 2, and Silu, who I'm going to who I'll introduce to you in issue 2. If I have an extra issue or extra few pages, I think you guys will be a little bit more invested in what happens to these characters.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I'm across my fingers.
Yeah, so hopefully everything goes well. You just hit 58 backers. As I was just looking over at it.
Thank you guys. If that was one of y'all, I appreciate it.
So going strong on day 1. So keep it up.
Hey, I promise you. I'm just thankful for all of you guys. I'm thankful for you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thankful for all the backers.
Looking forward to hear what the stretch goals are, because I know you're going to hit that goal. Know what's going to happen.
Hey, I told you I sent you those. They came out a little bit smaller than I thought with the magnets. I told you I was going to do it. I'm gonna get you a big one, just a personal one that says "Thank you for me. Here's Worlds Away."
Yeah. I got it sitting like attached to a button that I have sitting on my monitor, sitting on this. The space
I told you I was gonna do it.
So it magnetizes. It sits on the Space Bastards.
It looks good, man.
Button. It's pretty cool. But yeah, now I dropped that. I'll fix it. We're wrapping up here at the end of the hour. Anything else you want to tell people about Worlds Away, or about anything else that you're allowed to talk about that you got going on?
Oh yeah. So please, if you're considering backing Worlds Away, please consider backing the Serenity trading cards one as well. If you do, there's a chance that you can get a holographic version of it. If you get the holographic version of the trading card, then the next campaign you guys will get something free that I'll throw along with whatever you choose. I have a Substack. If you guys want some behind the scenes looks at Worlds Away, I post a lot on my Substack, which is worldsaway.substack.com. A lot of the images that you guys are seeing on the Kickstarter, especially like the characters, a lot of the promos, and a lot of the pages and everything, I posted that weeks ago on the Substack. So if you go to worldsaway.substack.com, you guys can get a bunch of previews there. You can find me on Twitter at Damien Becton. You can find me on Instagram at Becton. Worldsaway.comic.com. If you don't want to look Worlds Away up on Kickstarter, you can just go straight to worldsawaycomic.com, and that'll take you straight to the Kickstarter page. And cross your fingers for me, everyone. And let's go get this goal. Thank you guys for your time. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. I had the Twitter and Instagram linked below. I just dropped the Substack over in the chat. I got to add that in later. Forgot to add that to the links.
No, you're good. I appreciate your help regardless, brother.
Absolutely. Link to the Kickstarter in the description, or if you've been watching live, over in the chat. So thanks again for coming back.
Thank you.
Seeing it hit the goal. It's already moving along. So
thank you guys.
I feel good about it.
That's with your help, Jeremy. That's with your help, brother. I appreciate
it. They're all coming for you, though. They're all headed to that Kickstarter for your work.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Good night, everyone. You guys be safe.
Night, everybody.